Hey everyone, welcome back to the Civilmation Podcast. I am your host, Civil Spider. Thank you guys for stopping by again, and as you see in the title, today we have Tyler, or NG Tyler as known on his Twitter. But before I get into that, to give you guys a recap on what is the Civilmation Podcast. So ultimately, the idea of this podcast is to bring in anyone who's in the quote-unquote animation business and kind of share their story so everyone can see the different paths you take. And I don't care if you're a stop-motion animator, if you are someone like me who's a video editor trying to get into animation, if you're a concept artist, storyboard artist, anything. I want to talk to you, I want to put your story out, and I want everyone to see there is not just one path to take into animation. As long as you have the passion and the desire and the drive to do it, there's going to be ultimately 1,000 ways to do it. There's no one route. So today, like I said, I am joined here with Tyler. So Tyler, can you hear me?
I sure can.
Awesome. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm great. How are you?
I'm okay. Like as I told you a little earlier, I'm a little sleepy. Might not sound like it, but I am. I don't know why. Just past couple nights I've been hard asleep, but you know, it is what it is. How about you?
I'm good. I got all of my Z's.
Yeah, sleeping is it's so important, but sometimes we gotta stay up to do the work. So, but anyway, so Tyler, I'm not sure if you've heard of the previous podcast, but hearing my intro, now you kind of know what I'll be asking, right? Like, I'm not gonna ask too much personal stuff because I don't want to get in, like, put your business on the internet. But I will be sticking primarily to just, you know, some professional stuff, a little bit about you, of course, because I want people to know of you. But, you know, by all means, if there's ever something you don't want to share, you don't have to. We'll move along, okay?
Yeah, it's fine. You can put me on the spot. I'm ready for it. You know, the more I think about it, it's like a lot of artists are secret, and maybe they should be, but I find more value in being open where I can be.
Well, I think it's good, too, because also for those that follow you, I'm sure they're so interested to know who's behind that face, you know? Like, I know you have a character, which I'll be asking you about. You know, even like me, I don't even know your face. I don't even know if Tyler's your real name, so I'm sure other people are just as interested. But with that being said, is Tyler your real name?
The mask comes off, it is, yeah.
Oh, okay. So Tyler. Alright, I'm not gonna ask your last name. We'll keep that private. Okay, so what made you decide to use Tyler, though? Or, for example, on your Twitter, I see that it's NG_Tyler. Why NG? What's that?
Right, so I started making things well before I did install and stuff for game stuff. I was on Newgrounds, that's what the NG stands for. And I had a name change, and no one had the name Tyler. So on that side, it was cool. It was like, oh, you're just your name, you're who you are.
Right.
But, you know, like, on the greater web, really, it's very common.
So with that, then you just decided to throw NG_ in front of it?
Yeah.
And I'm assuming now that I know it's Newgrounds_Tyler, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
It's like a little clan tag.
No, I like that. That's actually pretty wise. I wouldn't have thought to have done that for myself, so that's a good idea. So then, curiously, like, so I know you went with Tyler, real name, and then Newgrounds Tyler. But just like people like me or anyone else, really, you know, I went with a different name to not be known as my name. Like, you're okay with people like knowing your name is Tyler? You didn't want to like hide it?
Yeah, my identity is like, if I don't advertise it, but if you look for it, you'll find it. I see the value in having a stage name. Like, it just stands out. It pops out. Because
right.
Like, I have my real name, my grounded human name. It's common. Sometimes I wish, I had a not strange, just like a mysterious, fun name, but it is what it is for now.
Well, I think it suits anyway, because, you know, I only know you through Planet Dolan, but obviously when I think of Tyler, I think of the color red because of your picture and everything. So, but all right. So just so I can share my name, so you're not the only one. In case you don't know, my name is Tony. And I went with Civil Spider just because I combined Civil War Spider-Man, because I was trying to make a League of Legends name, like a new name on there, and I wanted it to be Civil War Spider-Man, but obviously that was too long, so I just, you know, compiled it to Civil Spider, and that just stuck with me.
Oh, I thought you were like a well-behaved spider. Like,
Oh, no. Oh, I
like
didn't
all
actually think of
spiders are
that.
barbarians, but you
I'm the
can
civil
people
one.
can get along with you.
Yeah, no, no. So it's funny because whenever I explain that, people are like, "Oh, so you just got it from playing League?" I'm like, "Yeah, but a lot of people get their names just from like video games or a movie or something like that." So, from my knowledge, I know you as Tyler, the occasional animator or artist at Planet Dolan. Is that your profession? Are you mainly like an artist that does animation, or what other things do you do aside from that if that's not your main focus?
No, the Dolan thing is very recent. I've been making games since like 2010. That's when I started making games. And that was a hobby. It became what I did for a living a few years after. It was a hobby, I got a job, and then after the hobby made more money than my job, I quit it. It's an on and off profession. It's up and down. It's not very stable. So the Dolan thing was me looking for a little more stability in my life. So
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I know that. Okay. So if this hobby of yours became your profession, then what were you doing before this?
before the game thing,
Yeah.
I was a graphic designer for a year.
Ooh. Okay. Anywhere specific, or we kind of just brought it out like to whoever can hire you or something?
Yeah, that's how it was. I did graphic design for this stockbroker firm, and it was very boring. It was very like, soul crushing design,
Oh man, I bet.
layout things. Just oof. Occasionally there were fun projects, but the vast majority of it is just like typesetting, boring logos.
Basically,
Because
whatever
people
they
are boring.
wanted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much.
Okay, so that's cool. So you did that for businesses. You kind of had to do their stuff. Now let's go a little bit before that. So before that, I'm assuming, I mean, growing up, is being an artist something that came natural to you, or were you one day looking at something and were inspired to start drawing? Like, how did that come about?
As long as I can remember, it was something I was doing, but I never took it beyond a hobby, really. For the longest time, it was just something I did for fun, really.
Okay, and then eventually that hobby progressed into something you wanted to take more seriously.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's funny. I wonder too if I would have started sooner. I grew up in a place where, or just I guess an area. I grew up in a small town, so it's like, it's funny. I was afraid to share my drawings and like, pursue things more seriously because it's like I was made fun of a lot for drawing. It was weird. It was considered weird where I grew up.
I don't want to get in specifics, but like, can I at least know, like, do you live in the U.S. or?
Oh yeah, I live in the U.S. I grew up in a small town, Pennsylvania.
Ah, Pennsylvania. Okay. Huh. But I wouldn't see why drawing would be weird. But like you said, it's a small town, so I'm sure everyone's interests are different there.
Well, it's it's because like I always wanted to draw. It's like strange things like heroes and it's like little scenarios. And I'm not saying art wasn't weird. It was like I remember everyone drew the same things. Like everyone was obsessed with drawing deer. Like everyone wanted to draw. Like everyone was a hunter, so everyone drew deer in a trio. And it was just considered so strange to have these outside tastes. And it did honestly make me stop for a while.
Oh, because of what they were saying?
Yeah, exactly. It's
man.
funny how that can like stop you for a while, but
Well, yeah.
get
I
back
mean,
into it.
yeah. I mean, I don't see that as strange as stopping from getting, like, I guess you can say, backlash from others, because that can be really, I don't know, crushing. Knowing that what you want to draw is odd and compared to all the deers that people want to draw. But then think about it nowadays. I mean, everyone loves superheroes. Everyone's like glorifying it, as opposed to before that was seen as, like, I guess a nerdy thing.
Yeah, I'm a little jealous because maybe it's just where I grew up, but yeah, things changed a lot and for the better, I believe.
Oh, I think so. Because if anything, what I like though, in terms of like the way things are now about superheroes and all that, because before, like, really, there kind of was like a I don't know if it's a stigma, if that's the word I'm looking for, but like, you know, people would be like, oh, what nerds? But nowadays everyone's like, yeah, you know, I love Captain America, or I love Black Panther, Iron Man. And I'm like, weren't you just making fun of me in 3rd grade about this? So, but yeah, that's just how things are now. But okay, growing up, you did it, you stopped, you picked it up again. When you picked it up again, from like, let's say from that point on till now, how has your art kind of changed in terms of, you know, aside from your skill improving, is there something you did that like you started dipping into different aspects, and then that's when you realized, you know, I really want to focus on this thing? Or like, how did your creativity come about to where you are now?
I like working with people, honestly. It's like, at this point, everything I do creatively is collaborative.
Oh, I like that.
And it's just, you know, for Dolan, it's their characters, and I can help bring it to life, but it's like, for my own work, for my own games, it's always someone else I'm working with. So it's always like, always passing back and forth ideas. And everything has more of a purpose now than before, where everything I do is just like selfish fun.
Okay, so you'd rather be collaborative than to work on your own piece kind of thing?
Yeah. I mean, there's most people I think that do what I do are pretty collaborative. It's rare you'll find someone who has all the skills to do everything by themselves, because at least on the web, you have to have so many skills to do everything. You need an artist,
for sure.
a designer, a sound designer, editor.
And that's true, and that's the tricky thing, because you know, I ran into issues like that just being an editor. It's like, if someone like if someone were to come to you, or me for example, and some people want to assume like, okay, this guy draws, so I'm assuming he does animation, and then if animation comes about, I'm assuming he does the sound, and if sound comes, then that means he's a video editor. Like, people assume so much out of one person. You know, we all have our specialties, so, and then that sucks, because if you can't do everything, then they'll just move on to the next until they find it.
Yeah, definitely. It's like, for my stuff, I'll do animation, and I'll do design, general design, but I'll always, like, if there's a complex animation, I'll outsource it. If there's too much, I'll outsource it. But I need a programmer, I need sound people. And you know, it's funny, it's like, I often wonder for Dolan. I mean, I guess because Dolan has so many characters, but there's so many behind the scenes people working on it that aren't characters too.
Oh, big time, yeah. And those people, and that's another big thing about this podcast, which is why I'm trying to focus on the Planet Dolan crew, like, as a start, because I feel there's so many behind the scenes people that, like, I'm like, no, I need you. I want to get them up here and talking and stuff, because it's like, I don't want them to be overshadowed. And I'm not, what I'm about to say, I don't mean it rudely, but like, overshadowed by the popular ones like Pringle, Hellbent, you know, the people that are basically always featured in stories.
Yeah, it's like if you ever see a play or a movie, even, the camera focuses on the star, the hero, but everyone's behind like the camera, and there's the makeup crew and the people like pulling the props,
exactly,
editing it, filming it.
You know, and that's the beauty of what we do. It's like, there's so many aspects to it. I just don't want those in the shadows or in hiding to continue hiding, because you'll never know if there's one person that will listen to this or anything that can be like, you know what, I actually want to do that. How did they get to where they are now? Yeah,
definitely. And I think for most people, they see that starhood and they're like, oh, I want to be this popular character. But it's honestly, it's really hard to be the one-man show. And I'm not saying you can't be, but it's something you can work up to. You don't have to start alone.
I honestly, wholeheartedly would not have any of the, I don't want to say popularity, just the acknowledgement that I have now of what I do if it wasn't for Planet Dolan. You know, and I'm forever grateful on that, because it's kind of like, it feels good knowing some people know about me now, but like, just me being the person I am, it's like, well, I'm just here to help. Like, I like to help, just kind of like you, actually.
Yeah, definitely. Dolan still is a great kickoff platform.
Yeah, I'm hoping one day I'll get him on this podcast. He told me he's a bit busy right now, which I understand, but oh man, if I can get him on here, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, we're actually working on a different project together right now. I don't know if I'm able to talk about it, so I'm not going to. But yeah, he's a busy man.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, and yeah, I'm gonna keep that on the DL for now, cause I don't even know that much about it. I just know like a very like one sentence thing, so we'll keep it on the DL for now. Speaking of the big man Dolan, right? Like, so personally, I actually see him as an inspiration. He's one of like the few people that I gain inspiration from, just cause like he went from starting out doing, I believe it was like I think it was gaming or something or movie reviews, and then it just led him all the way up to here. So I want to ask you then, who are some people, whether that be famous people or even just personal people that you know, who are some people that give you inspiration and why? What do they do for you?
Tom Falk. He made Newgrounds and Castle Crashers and the Behemoth.
Oh, okay, so no,
Castle Crashers. So they're two businesses.
Hold on, Castle Crashers. That sounds familiar. Is it? Yes, it's the game with the 4 guys. Yes, I played that. I haven't played that in forever though.
It's like a decade old now.
Yeah, but yes, I played it. I know what you're talking about. Okay, so that guy gives you inspiration, and why is that?
You know, it's funny. It's like everyone who's a leader seems like their name is Tom these days. Planet Dolan's guy is Tom. I mean, he's just a really like great person. Very, very driven and very kind. And I mean, he made a website too. Like Newgrounds has inspired so many people. You wouldn't have Game Grumps without it. You might not have Cuphead without it. You wouldn't have like Oni Plays without it. There's so many things that came from it, and like he made that. And he made his game studio. He made like, several hit games. It's like he's one person. He's a mortal man like you and I, but like his dedication and his desire to help other artists grow while he grows is just so admirable.
Yeah, and definitely, especially in the like the animation community, because so many animators I know, they started off in Newgrounds, and then that helped them take off, you know, what it is they do. I know definitely like some people I've watched. I think Domix was like one. Who do I watch right now? There's a guy named Yo Man. I don't know if you know him on YouTube. He's kind of, but like he was an artist. He started there. There's so many people that I know that just started on Newgrounds, and that's the thing. Like you said, like it's nice because that platform help them take off with what they're trying to do.
It's like the primordial soup that a lot of the internet crawled out of. A lot of people don't realize it.
I like that, yeah. But yeah, animation definitely on Newgrounds, and Newgrounds in general, just, yeah, it's great. But I didn't know that that's the guy that created it. Do you know right now what else he does?
Him and his team are making a game called Nightmare Cops right now. They have a Twitter, you can look it up.
So do you know what kind of game it is?
It's this beat 'em up where you're cops that go into people's dreams, and I guess I'm not 100% certain, and I don't know how much they want to reveal, but you're cops that fight nightmares in people's dreams. A lot of people are secret about their ideas before they come out. It's like I try to be pretty open with everything I do at this point.
And why is that? Just, I guess, playing devil's advocate or something. Like, aren't you scared someone's gonna steal your ideas or something?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think about that all the time. I like doing it out in the open. Not like a real weird exhibitionist, but like I get immediate feedback, and you know, it's like if people can watch. Like I mostly do it for me, but if I fail, I'll do it in the public eye, and if I succeed, I'll do it in the public eye. And I think this is the first time I've been a little open, but I'm trying to be as open as I can be now. It's like every aspect of it is out there, open for criticism. And it's like if I fuck up, I'll know why. People can see it go down.
Right, and that's the thing too with me, because before I even started this podcast, I've dabbled into so many things already, because I just didn't know what my creative outlet is yet. Because, you know, with video editing, you know, my outlet is doing what is asked of me. So I'm over here thinking, what is Civil Spider's thing? Like, you know, if I go to like your YouTube channel, not sure if you have one, to be honest, but like, let's say you did and I go onto it, I'm assuming I'll be seeing all of your art, all your animations. You go into Hellbent, I'm assuming Hellbent's doing something with his voice, whether it be video game, commentary, something. But then I always felt like when people come to me, it's like, what are they gonna see at Civil Spider? Because I don't mean to like put myself down, but I feel like if you know how to edit a little, then you're an editor, so to speak, right? So how can I make myself stand out? And I just never knew what to do. And I feel like this podcast might have been finally it. But actually, holy cow, I just realized that led up right to what I was going to ask you. How did you figure out that you wanted to get into video games?
Well, you know, I always really liked them. I think that's pretty common. And I know when I was younger, I would make mock-ups, like fake screenshots and like, walkthroughs. And, you know, it was just fun. I didn't think it was ever going to happen, but I like to pretend that it was going to happen. And then, you know, someone asked, like the first game I only made it because someone asked me, and they're just like, I noticed you're an artist, I need art, let's work together. And I truly didn't think anything was going to come of it. That was going to be garbage and no one would play it. And it's like, I did the art, and then things were quiet for about a month. And the guy comes back, and he has a check for me. It's like, I didn't even know. Like, I was just doing it for fun.
Oh, wow.
Sold and made money, and I was in school still, so I was very surprised. And I started to think, you know, it's like, I wanted to do this before. Maybe it's a thing I can do. So I just rolled with it from that point forward.
Okay, so that basically was a stepping stone, and then that just continued to go on then.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like that because I'm hoping those that are listening, you guys take note. Like he said, he did it because it's what he wanted to do. You know, he thought he was doing it for fun, and he ended up getting a check out of it. I feel like that's one of the best ways to start, because I feel, especially for me too, so I know what you mean, is like, I think there is no greater feeling than liking what you do, getting good at it, and then one day actually getting paid to do it. I feel like that's such like a snowball effect. Like it one thing leads to another, and then the next thing you know, you're somehow getting paid for just having fun. And I want to ask you then, from the time that you've done the video game, you know, being an artist, video game stuff, has there been a time though that I don't want to say you regret it, but I want to say that has there been a time where you've doubted it because you started feeling like it turned into work and not fun anymore?
Well, I can take that. I'll take that question in two different ways. So, the uncertainty never goes away. It's when you're doing it for yourself, or well, in my case with a small team. Essentially, I say for myself because I lead them, but there is always a sense of uncertainty when you are in charge of something. When you are doing something independently. You'll never know. You just do the best you can, and maybe it'll work out. You never know if it'll work out. There's no guarantee. And that's why a lot of people just take on other jobs while they do this stuff. And I don't regret it. There's nothing. Yeah, I'm happy with it.
Now you said there was two different ways to take it. What was the other way?
I forget. You said you had a two-part question. Or you said something I split it into and I just forgot.
It happens. Well, let's see, because I know I asked you if you ever regret it because it started feeling like work.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, wait, could that be the second one? Do you feel like it's work now as opposed to fun?
It's work. It's both. It's fun coming up with the idea. It's fun expanding on the idea, and it's fun when it's done. But that's a very short part, and then the rest of it is hard grinding. Yeah, a lot of work.
So then, with all the in talking of grinding and a lot of work, can you give me an example for those listening too? So, with the stuff that you do, especially like I said, being an artist, what is a project that took you the longest to complete? Like, how many hours can you recall that you put into it?
I couldn't tell you like a number. Because, well, my last project took a little over a year, and I was working on it every day.
No, that works. So over a year. Okay.
This one's gonna definitely be like 2 years at least. I've already
the one you're working on right now?
Yeah, I'm already like 9 months into this one.
Oh wow. Okay, that's still a long time.
Yeah.
Now, how do you organize yourself then? Like, do you set aside like, all right, it's Monday, I'm doing 10 hours of this today, and the rest of the hours is myself, or do you just kind of dip into it? Like, how do you organize yourself?
It's a mix of chaos and order. I try.
Ooh, I like that.
I have a routine. It's like every morning I will exercise. I'll wake up and I'll run or I'll go to the gym. Typically the gym. So I have to start that way, and that structures the beginning at the same time every day, and then I'll end the day by I'll play games and then I'll read right before sleep, and then in between that it's work time. That's a little more chaotic because it changes every week.
Oh, for sure. Okay.
As much as I can do.
Just to share with the audience, I think that's actually good though. What he's saying, it's like, your time schedule is always gonna fluctuate. Times are gonna change. But if you have a routine, such as he does, such as I do, it makes it easier because at least mentally for me, it's like my brain is already trained. Like, I know the time I'm putting into this, then the rest of the time is for whatever project I have. And I feel like, at least again, this is for me and so far for Tyler, having a routine works. And if anything, try to put yourself in that mindset. Like, if there's something that you can do repetitively that you can accomplish, it's kind of like little wins that you accomplish every day that can kind of continue the ball to keep rolling. Because once I hit the gym, and I'm sure Tyler, you feel this too, we feel good, and now we're like, good, we got that part out. What's next?
Yeah, definitely. And to me, the whole creative process it's uncertainty and chaos a lot of the time. So if there's any amount of stability, it really helps a lot.
It definitely, when especially like, how do you deal with this, and how do you deal when your mind just wants to procrastinate so bad?
If it doesn't happen, because it does happen sometimes, there's a few things I do to ground myself, and I just write. I sit down and I'll write about my procrastination. I'm just sort of asking myself, why am I procrastinating? Why am I wasting my time? Why don't I need to get started right now? And just like
do you like to write too? Sorry to cut you off, but do you like to write too, or is it just kind of your way to manage that?
I like to write. I have to write down my thoughts, or else I'll just get disorganized in my head. It's like when I first started making stuff, I didn't have any schedule, and I let ideas swirl around in my head, and that's what caused like depression and shit when I was living a chaotic life. All that just like unresolved thoughts, and you don't remember what you need to do. I just had to get it down on paper out of my head.
Hey guys, sorry to cut off randomly here in the middle of the podcast, but I had some technical audio issues here in this part. I don't know what went on during the editing, or just during the recording rather, but I couldn't get the audio to like sound well. It was weird, but just point is, I had to cut this part off. Sorry about that, but let's resume with the podcast and with the question that was next. I'm not asking to kind of put your business on. I'm actually asking because that was going to lead to the question I was about to ask you, which you kind of answered a little. Well, I was going to say, in terms of like your family, how do they feel that you're making a living as an artist, or trying to, whatever the term is?
Oh, they don't understand it. That's okay. I remember when I was, I don't know what the hell was that? The first time I started doing it, and then I moved out. And I moved to Philly, and I was there for 2 years. I moved a few times. I moved twice there. And it's like, when I quit my job, they're like, what the hell are you doing? Like, this game stuff is just it's a stupid hobby. And they didn't get it. They didn't understand. But, because it made more money than any job I ever had.
How do they feel now? Oh, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, they're fine with it now. They're absolutely, like, they get it. I've proved it to them. But, I don't blame them. To them, it's like, it's this, they don't really like the internet. They're just they're separated from them. They don't understand it. They couldn't imagine it as a viable path for themselves. So it's like, to them, it's the unknown. The unknown is scary. So, and like, you care about your kids, so I get it.
Mm-hmm. No, yep, for sure. Being a parent, I know I've had some people tell me, especially when I was in my art in college when I was studying animation, like a lot of people were concerned, especially because of the whole parent thing. Because some of their parents were supportive, some of them were like, "Why are we sending you to art school?"
Yeah.
I like though that at least like I've asked you, knowing that you've answered to me before that you wouldn't you don't regret actually what you're doing. It's kind of like one of those things where it's kind of reassuring to know, like, you know, at least at the time, this, in spite of your parents not really understanding or approving, it's still what you wanted, so you went out and still did it.
Yeah, it's like what I was saying earlier. It was non-stop disapproval from a lot of people in my life. Like, family disapprove, friends disapprove, teachers disapprove, and it's like guidance counselors like, oh, this is a bad move. And then even in like college, everyone's telling you it's a bad move, but it's like,
well, everyone sees it differently.
Yeah, exactly. No, and it's just like, I don't really care about other people's advice.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their own thing. Some people want to be accountants, some want to do, real estate, and then you got people like us that are like, no, we want to create.
Yeah, you know, I make enough money to live well enough. Not like, you know, I survive. It's fine. I'm not obsessed with making a lot of money. I'm just obsessed with making fun things. That's all I care about. It's like creating is more important than me. I'll die if I can't do it.
No, and that's how you know. And again, for those that are listening, I hope you understand. Like, that's something that seriously some of us just feel. Like, if you have that instinct in you, you know, and despite disapproval of who you're getting it from, and even that hard times of it being your own family, you know, at the end of the day, guys, like, no one is gonna do this for you. No one puts in the hours, no one puts in the struggles, and no one definitely goes through what you do for your art. And I don't ever want that at anyone to one day tell me, like, hey, Civil, like, you know, I dropped out of school because of blah 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 because my parents didn't approve. It's like, listen, like, I get it's hard, but I'm hoping you can take from Tyler, from what he's saying, like, if you really think about it, and if you really are always thinking, wanting to do, always doing it on your free time, like, just take the chance, because you never know where it can lead to. So Tyler, actually, something I want to ask you to tell everyone that's listening. What is something, is there like a quote, is there something that you, without a doubt, live by every day and you use that as inspiration?
I have a lot of quotes that I like. There's messages in life, kind of like what you were saying, essentially take responsibility. And I've heard many quotes worded differently. They all mean that. They're all like personal responsibility. Oh, actually, yeah, there is one. What was that Ernest Hemingway quote? It's like, we're the captain of our souls or something.
No, Ernest Hemingway, you said?
Let me look it up before I make a fool of myself.
I know, before we have that one person that knows exactly what you're talking about, it's gonna write in the comments, like, hey, he was wrong. Like,
I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
Ooh, I like that. And that was from Hemingway?
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
You can just edit it down to that part.
From everything that we've said till now.
Yeah, just get rid of the whole interview. Just keep that single line. Nah, you can be honest. I don't care.
Nah, it's just something that you know, I think if others know what kind of gets you going, then again, maybe they don't feel alone. Because what if they look up to poetry and that's what gets them going? Poetry, books. I mean, actually, you're an avid reader, correct?
Yes.
Can you, you know, not to stray too far from animation, but can you actually share like a personal book that you sincerely love? Is there something that you just, or not even a book, but let's say like an author?
Look here at big old bookshelf. I like all the Carnegie books.
Wait, one more time?
All the Dale Carnegie books. Like,
I don't know if I know that.
Most of the things I like nonfiction a lot. I like reading accounts of people who have made it, people who recount history. I don't like fantasy in books. I think fantasy is best left to games, honestly.
I like that. Okay.
Or like anime.
So you like nonfiction then?
Yeah. I like reading people who have their shit together.
Do you do that because, I mean, I'm not trying to get all in depth in you here, but like, like, do you feel like you do that maybe because you're trying to get all your shit together?
Yeah, there's definitely that, and then it's like why Tom Phelps is the guy I look up to. It might sound kind of like mean or shocking, but like the everyday person, they're not like great successes. They haven't done what I want to do, and it's like, why would I look at somebody who doesn't have what I want as an inspiration? It's like everyone kind of has idols. We idolize heroes or athletes, but it's like, then there's nothing wrong with that, but can you apply it to your life? Does it have value to you? Does it, because like you can't go become a superhero and you like, we're artists. I'm not going to become a sports star or anything. I'm not going to become like a king or a president or something like that,
right?
CEO. So it's like you gotta pick your own heroes
and kind of and apply it to your life, to what you're trying to do. No, I agree with you. Like my without a doubt, my biggest inspiration is Walt Disney. That's just because he is such a family name, and I'm not trying to be a family name, but I definitely want to just to strive not to be as successful, but successful enough to where I can at least be good enough to get into what he made, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Idolizing something like that, the bar is so high. You, like, there's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, in reality. And that's the thing, I'm with you too, because I know a lot of people where I live, they look up to artists, they look up to basketball players. But I'm always thinking, like, man, but what do you guys do to get your, like, why do you idolize them? Like, I don't care if this sports player has, made 100 points in a game. I know that's impressive. But that doesn't do anything for me. But everyone to each their own kind of thing,
Yeah, it's like, and there's more than that singular activity too, because if we're getting on this basketball path, it's like, you could look up to him, there's nothing wrong with that, but
of course.
Why do you look up to him? It's like, I don't know if shooting 100 baskets is going to improve your life, unless you're in his position, unless like that's what you're aiming for. But
if anything, if anyone were to tell me like I have to look up to a sports player and give an example, I don't know anyone, but I would only look up to a sports player if I'm trying to at least have the same dedication. Because don't get me wrong, being a pro player, that's a lot of dedication, that's a lot of work you have to put into, and I can always admire that. I can always admire hard work.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's like a lot of the people I look up to become friends with, and that's like one of the best things you can do, because if you can get inside their head, if you can surround yourself with people who have what you want, you're more likely to get that. So it's like, if I didn't engross myself with Newgrounds, and they have what I want, so I might not be doing this if I hadn't done that.
Right. Do you live like your roommates and stuff, have they been, I guess, in the art field as well, animation field as you, or are you usually rooming with people you'd say are just not at the same path?
I've roomed with a lot of people. So my first roommates, they were creative people, but they didn't do what I did, motion designers. And then I did live with professionals. Like I lived at Newgrounds briefly. I lived with Spaz Kid. I don't know if you know who that is.
No, I don't.
That's okay. But it's like I lived with him and my friend Jeff Johnny Utah worked there, and I've admired him for years. It's like I was living with and working with people that I really looked up to, and I got a lot from being around.
Which is good, learning off of those around you, because if anything, it makes you want to live with those who are in the same path, like surround yourself with those people.
Yeah, if you can. If you can,
yeah.
It's beneficial. It's like there's more to life than just art. It's like, if you want to go acquire skills, live with those people, but there's other aspects of life that might be neglected if you do. So it's like a lot of artists don't work out, and I don't like that.
Okay, no, that's true. So it's kind of like a good and bad thing. Well, not bad, but there's benefits.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, as I was saying, so I'm down to the last 2 questions for you. But how's your experience been so far? I hope you've enjoyed being on this podcast. So how have you liked it? Has it been at least okay?
It's good, you know. You can watch a lot of interviews on TV and the news, and you can see how impersonal they are. They ask questions and they don't tell anything about themselves, and they speak in a dry, boring tone. It's like it's not fun and it's not personal. So it's like you engaging is fun. I enjoyed it.
Good, I'm glad. And I'm hoping for all of you listening, I'm hoping you guys have been enjoying these as well, and definitely having Tyler here. So let's get down to the last 2 questions then. So Tyler, if right now you can work and be somewhere, anywhere you want, would you rather be working for someone, or would you still want to try to work for quote unquote yourself?
I'd keep working for myself, honestly. I think it goes back to that quote, I can't captain someone else's soul.
Right.
I don't mind doing work for others, but doing your own thing, just can't beat it, really. You just can't. You're either in charge or you're doing it for someone else.
And that's true. I'm so with you on that. Okay, so then, to wrap things up, what do you want your last advice to be for anyone watching? Doesn't matter what profession they want to do, whether they want to follow and be an artist, storyboard artist, stop motion animator, anything. What is something you really want them to take away from this podcast?
It's gonna sound cheesy, but follow your inclinations. If there's something that you're drawn to, there's a reason you're drawn to it. And just because there's setbacks doesn't mean it's the end of it. Setbacks might redirect you, but it doesn't mean give up.
And for those listening, just like you said, I mean, if you're naturally drawn to something, whether that be any of the things that I have listed, even maybe things that are not on the list, but maybe you're listening to this podcast because you're considering getting into animation, just know they're really, at least for me and so far for him, definitely for Tyler actually, because he's living exactly what he's saying he's doing. You definitely want to just see why you're interested in it, because I think there really isn't something better in life or a greater feeling than to be good at something you just naturally like to do. So if anything, guys, I'm hoping everything you've heard from Tyler, everything he's done, his inspirations, you know, some of the hardships he deals with, or just the way he got into it, I hope you guys found this as inspirational, because that's ultimately what we want to do on this podcast. And that's why I had someone like Tyler come in, so you guys can learn from him. Because ultimately, like, I never knew Tyler was actually into video games. I know he's dabbled in it, because I believe I've seen some stuff on your Twitter, right? Like, you shared, I think, like, clips or something.
Yeah, I post every now and then.
But someone like me, you know, as quote-unquote close as I am to him through Planet Dolan, I still don't know anything. Up until now, at least.
They should just make me a character.
Well, wait a minute. Actually, did I ever even ask about your icon? Because I thought that was your character. You just haven't made it like a full body version.
Oh yeah, I mean, I it's like the cartoon me, essentially, is the way I view it. But yeah, it's not a character. It's been drawn a few times as a character by like fans, but it's not a character.
Okay, would you use that face and then just add on to it, or would you make like a separate one for Planet Dolan?
Oh my god, I have no idea. I haven't thought about it that much.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It's weird. It's like, it seems like everyone's more interested in a strange character than a realistic character, right? Because all the characters are like little animals, right? Essentially. It'd be weird to have a person in there, honestly. Because it's like, I'm friends with Spinal Palm and Princess Proton, and there's elements of themselves in their characters, but they're just wildly different.
Yeah, for me, just because of my name, like, people think I like spiders, and that's why I actually incorporated a spideristic look to the character when Dolan asked me about it. In reality, I just wanted him to fit the name, because same thing. I figured too, if someone's like, "Oh, Civil Spider," and then they just see like literally, like you said, like me, I always would assume they would think of, "Oh, he's not a spider." So I don't know, but I know what you mean. So I think for you though, because you're just using your name, I mean, I just personally think that's fitting, and quite honestly, I like it because I feel like we should have a bit more. I don't know. Is it humanoid? Is that like the term
The
that would
only
be used?
real person. Well, I guess there's like what?
The most that I know is
Doopy.
Doopy.
Yeah.
Yeah. The most I would know is Doopy. Wait, am I forget? Oh, you know. Oh wait, no, she's not a character. Yeah, so I would say Doopy, from my knowledge, unless I'm forgetting someone.
Are you telling me that Hellbent isn't an actual demon?
Are you telling me that that's not really how he looks?
I've never seen his face.
Wait, have you not?
No.
Like for real?
No.
Oh gosh, okay. I've only ever seen the character Hellbent. Currently, I don't know if he's doing it recently now, but like on his live streams, I finally saw his face because he actually had it live streamed, and
Pink demon.
he has an epic beard. That's as much as I'll say. But
Actually,
yeah,
I can believe that. I know he lives in the South, I think, somewhere. I'm pretty sure he said that he like works at a bar, and just sounds like the type. Sounds like a tough dude.
yeah, no, for real. Just looking at him, I feel like he is. Yeah. No, it's cool though. I like when I finally get to see the faces of like the actual faces, because after a while, I kind of get. I just always wonder who is behind, like you said, the mask. You know? So.
Yeah, now I'm wondering about your character.
Oh, about mine?
Civil Spider always struck me. It's like, because I had to draw him a few times, and I was like, this is I always had like someone who was smart, but maybe a little reserved, but like definitely very book smart. I don't know if that's accurate or not. There's definitely color in the other character.
No, it is. I wanted to make a character trait thingy for him, and that's exactly how I wanted to make him, except the only thing that would be different from him than me, it's more, I want him to also be more, I guess fearless would be the term. I want him to be a smart character, because I don't think of myself as someone who's dumb. So I wanted him to be looking smart and stuff, but like, just more brave, I guess. Yeah. So you hit it pretty well.
Self.
I guess it's just more of, I was hoping to make him look how I wish I could be, kind of thing.
That's a good tool, honestly, for growth. It's like I used to draw what I wanted to look like. Like, it's like when I was fat, I drew like my imagined physique, and that pretty much accomplished it. So.
Which is good, because yeah, actually, people that are listening too, think of it like that too. I guess for character design, I mean, if you could draw someone maybe, or draw I guess the person you wish you could be, because that can be something that you can use as like a personal goal. You don't have to share it with anyone. And honestly, you're the only person that knows that, Tyler, and I guess now people that are listening, because I've never admitted that. But I was hoping that when they drew him, that's how I wanted him to look.
Yeah, it definitely comes across.
No, which is good. I feel good now. I feel good about it. But I love it. I love the character. I'm so thankful. I think it was they're gonna kill me. Honeybits drew it for me, and then went on from there. But yeah, I'm really grateful.
Artist. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. She is though. But overall, guys, all right. I think we actually passed the hour mark, which is fine, because I've always told myself to keep these, if I had to, at least an hour. But I've had a lot of fun, and Tyler, thank you again so much for being on this podcast. And you sincerely were gonna be one of the people that I messaged personally about it, aside from like the Skype chat that I made. Because I wanted to actually talk to you, because I've seen your art, by the way, and I never even complimented you on this, and I'm sorry I'm doing that only now, but like, I love your art, dude. Like your art style and everything, I love it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's really nice. So when I saw the first episode I had to edit that you drew, I immediately was like, wow, like I like this cartoonish look to it. Like it's great. Is it, by the way, if I may ask one last question then, is that style something like you've always had, or did you kind of like find it along the way?
I found it along the way, honestly. It's this big fat flash lines that just got really addicted to them. I don't actually use that anymore, but yeah.
Alrighty guys, so this is going to be the end of the podcast. Now, if you guys want to know more about Tyler, you want to know his social medias, now Ty, I know that you have a Twitter that's public. Do you have anything else that I should add in the description so people can follow you?
Not yet, no.
So mainly Twitter then?
Yeah.
Okay. So for those that want to follow Tyler, learn more about him, feel free to follow his Twitter. And then for those from me, for my regular viewers, thank you guys for stopping by. And for anyone that's new, again, thank you for listening to the Civilmation Podcast, where I'm talking to anyone that's in the business. Today we had a guest artist from Planet Dolan, plus his own stuff as well, named Tyler. Yeah, follow him down in Twitter. Thank you guys so much for listening. And Tyler, any last words?
Stay in school.
Alrighty, I like that. Alright guys, have a good one. Thanks for listening. See you guys in the next one.